Why is the essential question, and it can be applied in various ways to practically all of the concerns of life. One of the primary questions for man must always be, why am I here? The questions about the nature of existence. Why is existence? The nature of the problem of the first course, the eternal why of the root of life. Now, in our tremendous concern with modern knowledge, as one scientist wrote not too long ago in one of his books, we have come head on into the impossibility of the question, why? We do not know why we are here. We do not know why anything is. We cannot answer the question, why is there a cat? We don't know. We don't know. Why are there trees? Why are there rocks? Why are there planets? We do not know any of the primary questions of existence. The knowledge of causes, therefore, must be the knowledge of the primary reason for our own living. The primary reason for the fact that we can think, that we can feel, that we can have sensory perceptions. Why can't I see? Why can I hear? Now, these questions, unfortunately and tragically enough, are the questions most commonly asked by a 7-year-old. Sometimes a 6-year-old, if they are precocious, but by the time they're 12-year-old, these children are taught not to ask these questions because nobody has any good answer. And it is much easier to say the question is irrelevant, immaterial, and inconsequential than it is to answer the question. The whole theory of Lord Bacon's ladder of the intellect, based largely upon Plotinus, is that the foundation of all security must arise from knowledge of causes. Until we have solved the matter of causation, until we know the why behind things, we have no idea of what to do. We do not know what nature wants. We do not know what God wills. Lord Bacon points this out quite strongly. We simply are unable to obey because we do not know what we are obeying. We have certain concepts about things, and we have developed a series of theological postulations to largely fill the interval of why. Then we have taken this why and arbitrarily in our own thinking redefine its meaning. So the science says today, whenever we ask why, we mean how. We do not ask why a thing is, but how it operates. If you want a definition of electricity, you would not find out what it is. You would find out how it operates. And you would also find that most things are named for their functions and not for their substances. Because of yet we are unaware of substances, yet man is able out of the inner life of himself to ask the question, why? And because he has the capacity to formulate the questions as the expression in his own uncertainty, it is inevitable that man also have the potential to find the answer. And this is why Lord Bacon broke with the Aristotelian system of study. He believed definitely that we could no longer build a way of life upon a series of arbitrarily formulas, regardless of how enlightened, noble, and really beautiful these formulas may be. We cannot answer a question with a definition. We cannot answer why by going into a long and rambling discourse on what other people thought about why. To Bacon, therefore, the problem of the great university had to do with the correction of the direction of our effort. That instead of first attempting to absorb the entire world of knowledge in a single instance, the problem that confronts us is to discover the nature of causes, to have into this rather than away from it, instead of regarding the problem of causation as a taboo area or a place where only madmen and mystics there reside. We have to begin to think of the directing of the faculties of man to the discovery of why or of the nature of causes. It is obvious, as Lord Bacon also points out, that we have certain instruments whereby it is conceivable that we might be able to find the answers to why. These instruments include tradition, which is the best that we have learned from the past, observations, which is leaving an immediate contemplation of the fact, and experimentation, which is the effort to reproduce universal processes of the disciplined control method of laboratory technique. But altogether, the direction of this effort must be not from the self out into the world of phenomena, so that that individual who memorizes the most definitions is the most learned. Our problem is to examine the causes, and it is obvious that we have only one possible instrument for the investigation of causes, and it is ourselves. In some way, we must turn the direction of our inquiry, we must turn it from the accumulation of external facts and the extension of external usages to the discovery of the essential facts, namely, what the nature of cause itself requires or demands of any process. What we are doing now is following lines of effect, but we have not demonstrated the validity of cause. We have not found the basic reason for life, the basic reason for our own existence, nor have we found the underlying truth principles upon which science, philosophy, and religion should be built. So the College of the 6 Days Work is based, of course, upon the idea of the 6 creative days which God fashioned all things. And this is brought down to a macrocosm or to the power of man himself. And in the beginning, God said, "Let there be light." This is the beginning of our problem. And also, in the very early part, God divided the heavens from the earth, and heavens being the abode of causes, the earth being the area of effects. And He placed certain powers in the heavens and certain powers in the earth. And man has advanced continuously regarding the lower hemisphere. He has explored the earth and continued to explore it. And under the heading of the earth, we mean not only the planets, but the entire material diffusion of galaxies in which we exist. But heaven, as the nature of causes, the internal, the root of ourselves, remained unexplored. So, Lord Bacon would have us revise our entire thinking and seek first these roots. And having discovered these, we're in a condition and position to advance all other forms of knowledge. For becoming aware of the universal purpose, we then have an enlightened reason and incentive to advance that purpose. We as now each person considering differently the meaning of these basic purpose, each perceived in his own way, in conflict with others, and there is no common agreement, even as to the simplest of the spiritual values of life. This is the beginning of his foundation, and it is also the purpose towards which all knowledge must lead. For as surely as this is the beginning, so as it says is also the end. For the end of all knowledge is not the increase of empire, but finally is the full knowledge of the causes of those things which we have previously examined, so that in any direction that we turn, cause becomes the great consideration. We must discover the nature of the great principles in which we exist and which exist in and through us. For until we discover the basic principle, we cannot advance any other form of knowledge adequately.